Welcome back to our Spotlight series where we get to meet the incredible people behind the Nepal-US AI Hackathon and what drives them to support the community. That said, super excited because we have one of our mentors, Ranjan Dahal, a infrastructure engineer at Axon, joining us today. So Ranjan Dai, thank you so much for doing this, as always.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So let's dive right into it and start all the way in the beginning, eh? Can you share a little bit about your journey? For example, कहाँबाट चाहिँ सुरु भएको थियो? And how did you end up where you are today?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question and thanks for having me. Hey, ठुलो opportunity हो. So I'm just gonna go back in 2009 when I first came to the US as an international student, and my major was computer science. I did that for a couple of years and finished my associate degree. And then I worked for a couple of companies as an intern and a software engineer. And after that, I joined the military. Right? I know military career is not technical. It was technical. I was working in a cool Apache attack helicopter. However, it really taught me a lot of things about leadership, having that integrity and having that grit and how, hardworking you should be to, achieve anything in your life, right? That kind of like carried throughout my career and still being a guiding principle for me through today. And after my military service, I was back to the civilian life, going back to college to finish my school. That's when I joined Wayfair as a database administrator. And at Wayfair, I spent 9 years. Throughout 9 years, I hold several positions as a DBA, as a manager, as an engineer, staff engineer, in a various department. And now it's been 2.5 months. I know my LinkedIn is not updated yet, still keeping it secret. At Axon, Axon is basically a company that invented tasers, and also like into more of a law enforcement product like body cam, drones, quite a bit of high tech stuff there, including helping different governments about solving different cases, helping their attorneys and all that things. So yeah, that's been my journey on a high level. A lot of learning throughout the journey I have, and then a lot of technological and leadership things that I have learned over the years.
And with your specific role in Axon Mate, like what does that look like?
So I'm a like more of a staff engineer. I know I don't like any levels because that basically creates division in so many people. But yes, I'm a senior member at the infrastructure team, primarily focusing on the data stores and also on the MLOps side of things, where we focus on supporting Axon's, global infrastructure, because Axon is pretty big when it comes to their presence. They have customers in Australia, Singapore, Vietnam, London, bunch of other places. So my role is to basically build out solution to support that, and then focuses on building out product that basically facilitates our internal customers. So one thing which is interesting about infrastructure team is our customers are not external customers. Our customers are internal customers within Axon to help them build them, move them. And we typically function in three different pillars. One of them is the developer velocity, how quickly someone can build out infrastructure and deploy their application and services to solve those business problem for their customers. Second is a efficiency. How do we run things cheaper and faster so that we can deploy things anyway, especially with the increasing cost of cloud providers, increased cost of managing and maintaining it, making it resilient. And the last one is availability, focusing on how do you build a system in a scalable way, in a very efficient way, not making very complicated, so that they can run seamlessly with the highest uptime ever possible. So I do that almost every day, whether it's designing, architecting, helping engineers understanding the requirement, and also building solutions.
Wow. Ranjan, like clearly you have a wealth, a sea of wealth of knowledge and experience. Um, from military later, almost a decade at Wayfair, and you Axon up on what you're doing, right? So looking back, like what are some lessons you've learned along the way from then to now?
Absolutely. I know I'm supposed to be talking about technological stuff, of course, and I think I'm going to go back to my experience at in the military, right? As long as you have that grit and you have a set of goal that what you want to achieve, you can harness any kind of skills, right? Technological, the tech stuff is a hard skill that you can gain, but again, your behavior, your discipline matters. So and also the leadership, right? How to rally behind people, how to rally along with them, because when you work for a company, you work for a team, you work for a vision and a goal, and you want everyone there, right? Even in the also in the military,
Mhm.
as if you're going in a battlefield, whether you like that person or not, when enemies are shooting at you, you need everyone's help, right? Every bullet counts, everyone's helps count. So having that mindset, right? Not taking any personal issues, anything like that, but sticking with the goal and helping each other out. I've definitely say that the most valuable. And if you go back, right, a lot of the successful CEOs or leaders out there, right? I'm pretty sure they are very well savvy technical individual, but they also had that qualities to please people, rally people behind, and then be able to create a good environment for a lot of the folks. So that's the one. The second thing, right? Always focus on the real world problem, right? One of the examples that I want to give is I used to work in a restaurant back in the day,
Mhm.
and we had a product called Open Table that used to take the reservation for folks. And the product has outages. It was out down for almost a week, and we had to do the reservation very manually. Take the phone call, do this and that, and organize. Very messy. And since I was a computer science student, I ended up building that solution,
Wow.
spend day and night. Not the perfect solution, but again, something that is can be usable to lay out the tables and all that. And I realized that because I'm building a solution to solve a specific problem, right? So similarly, whether you're running a startup, doing a hackathon, or working for a company, at the end of the day, you're solving a business problem, solving a problem for others so that they can use that as a product. So as long as you try to come up with your ideas not as a hobby, yes, there are hobbies has materialized into a product, good product, like Facebook and bunch of things. But as long as you have a clear, articulation of the problem space, how much scale it would need, how many people will be using it, then I think that's the right path forward. And I don't see everyone does that. So I guess for the, especially for the hackathon, any ideas, try to gauge your ideas with those data points and see if that's going to materialize as a good product.
Ranjan Dai, your
Yeah,
journey is definitely very inspiring. Yeah, हाम्रो पडकास्टमा पनि कुरा भएको थियो. It's gonna come out soon, guys, I know. But anyways, besides that, I think these are some points that even or takeaways that even I would हुन्छ नि take with me personally. But to switch gears, let's talk about the hackathon अब है त.
sure.
So, what made you say yes to being one of the mentors for the Nepal-US AI Hackathon?
Very good question. I probably shared in my podcast too, right? I guess someone helped me in the past, right? And I want to give that back. And like I mentioned, it's all about focusing on the team, trying to multiply. You want to be a multiplier. You don't want to be someone who does things and it stays within you, right? That's how we make a good world, right?
Mhm.
And you should be sharing the good things, right? Not the bad things that's going to harm people. And that's the like very simple answer, right? I wanna be there, help out whoever doing certain project, exciting projects. I wanna learn from them and see what I can help them mentor, not coach, but to mentor them, and then and see if people can be very proud when it comes to like what they have been delivering, right? And
Right.
then those small things really matters in everyone's career, right? You do something, you get acknowledged, you learn something, you fail, and that's just going to keep on pushing you. And I do want to impact, like I don't know, like will I be able to do that or not? Even if I'm able to influence one or two engineers out there part of the hackathon, it will be a big win for me, and I'm sure they will also do the same thing for other people. So that's the primary reason I want to be a multiplier. I want to help wherever possible. And yeah, that's the main driving decision that I'm being part of this hackathon.
Ranjana, we are super blessed to have you as one of the mentors. Who knows, some of the participants might gravitate towards Axon. I know.
Yeah,
Um, but हामीले off-screen मा चाहिँ we talked a little bit about this, how you've participated in company hackathons as well. And with the wealth of knowledge and experience that you have, you've seen a lot. So for all these new or first-time hackers that's participating in the hackathon, one or a couple pieces of advice that you may have. For example, some things that you shouldn't be doing in the hackathon and some things that you might want to be doing or whatever you think is the best.
Yeah, I kind of like a little bit touch on that, right? Ideas, there are so many ideas, right? Thousands of hundreds, probably millions of ideas. And a lot of those ideas are not going to materialize unless someone acts on it, right? Someone has to act on it, make a good things, and then it's not a like easy journey. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the founders out there already knows that. And in fact, I'm also on the path of doing something. So definitely it's not easy. However, whenever you come up with the ideas, right, I like to be very informed about everything. I know sometimes you have to um, take your like gut feeling and then go with that. But oftentimes your gut feeling may not work. Materializing something you're definitely going to learn. But if you want to increase your chances of making your hackathon project successful, is to again focus on the product and the impact that it can have. For example, I can probably reference one example as idea. So
Mhm.
I'm into real estate as an investor, not like anything. And every time I look for properties, right, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of solution out there, which I haven't found everything. But if I'm able to maximize my investment portfolio and be able to make money off of it based on the characteristic of every property, their prospective growth rate, the rental or whatever, I think it's a good product for me to be able to market it, right? And you can do math. How many agents out there in the US? How many properties have been being sold, right? How many investors out there? There's quite a bit of data out there, right? So you try to start doing the calculation, and let's say we have quite a bit of people out there. So I'm building a product. Let's say I'm just going to capture half percent of the demographic. How much revenue, or you also need a sustainment for your product, right? You cannot just feeding money or asking people to give you money. I know that a lot of things happen that way right now, but self-sustainment plan, how do you continue fueling that based on the revenue model you can have, and basically like come up with a plan, right, about your product, and then see how scalable it is. Is it just going to impact 1,000 people, 2,000, or 500? Or it's going to impact the 1 million people, or 10 million, or 50 million tomorrow, right? So those are the data points I always look for whenever I starting up, hackathon project or anything. But again, when I was doing a hackathon project for the company, we kind of know our customer base, we kind of know our revenue, we kind of know our market cap, right? So when I was at Wayfair, our founders always said home furnishing market is almost $800 billion, and
Mhm.
we are at around like 10 to 12 billion. So we want to move up to 50 billion, right? And you focus on that. How do you do that? What are the gaps and all that? And you start building that product to help make that happen. So that those are the things that you should probably do. Again, not set in stone. Things that you should not do. I guess once you do the project, right? Again, once you evaluate what the idea is, whether it's going to materialize, whether it's going to scale or not, and you do that part of your hackathon, you should continue with that same idea. If you don't, because I think you probably heard like Elon Musk or someone mentioned that there are so many. Again, hopefully I'm not saying anything bad about it. There are so many projects, so many scholars do research, right? And not all research materialize into doing something good for the humanity, right? And that is just a waste of resources. You did something and then it's sitting there. So my saying is, when you do something part of a hackathon, try to make it as if it can go a little bit longer. Maybe you build a product, maybe you become a founder of a company, you never know. But again, increase your chances. So don't leave the project hanging, because again, if it's not going to materialize in something tangible, then again, you're still going to learn it. But for me, I guess it's not effective enough.
Well, and those are some really, really good insights. Let's talk a little bit about mindset, Ada. So because this hackathon is going to be maybe 48 hours, very short period of time to have a full-blown MVP and an idea to prototype logs her. And I think it's really, really, it's such a good point that you brought up. Keith, your prototype was say, but see, be in that mindset where if you think there's a chance, once you move forward with it to actually launch it in the market. So for a lot of people that, again, not to sound like a broken record, तर कसैको like the first time hacker हुन्छ नि, like
Yeah.
उनीहरूको लागि चाहिँ like what's the mindset that they should be in when entering this hackathon?
Okay, for first timers who have been new to the industry and all that, I guess try to learn as much as possible. That's the like key thing that everyone says, and I think it's very basic foundation for anyone to be better. Um, you know, some of the CEOs also said having that incremental mindset, the growth mindset, right? So what you should be thinking of is I'm going to be learning as part of this 48-hour process, meeting people who probably have wealth of knowledge, trying to extract as much as possible, and again building connections, right, for the future. um, and also like feeling proud that whatever you come out with is again going to be impactful. Again, doesn't have to be impactful. Again, impact is going to be measured by different people on a different scale, but I guess ultimately it comes down to learning
Mm-hmm.
and doing your best, being creative, because I think that the Gen AI has made things a lot easier now. 48 hours seems like a for months because the things that I do in like few hours versus what I used to do in a month is has completely transformed with an asterisk there. Um, but yeah, I guess just focus on the learning, focus on pushing the boundary, getting as much as from your like your teammates and also from your mentor.
Last question. Hazurla, is it personally, like what kind of projects or what do you want to see from the participants in terms of what they build? Because I know you touched up a little bit on the real world हुन्छ नि, scenario को projects or impactful projects. तर if you could be selfish and be like, oh, यस्तो हेर्न पाएको भए चाहिँ it would be amazing. What would it be? I'm curious.
Yeah, given that 48 hours timeline, right? I know pretty sure a lot of the projects seems like there are like in companies, right? Some project runs
Yeah.
for years, right? So given the time constraint, I guess solve something that is again back to the same, has a good user base, and there's a possibility that it can be marketed as a product, and it is going to impact or simplify someone's life. It could be a convenience, could be entertainment, medical field. I don't know because you were able to achieve that in 48 hours because it's a very highly regulated field, right? So pick a field, or pick up like field that can that have the opportunity to improve people's life. Um, but I don't have a specific idea other than the real estate one I gave, right? But definitely there are ideas out there that can be materialized within that time frame and be able to help make people's life better.
Ranjan, that was amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. As always, we're super blessed to have you as one of the mentors for the hackathon. Now, for the participants that's watching, I hope these spotlight series get you a little bit more inspired and ready to go for the hackathon. So that said, Ranjan, any last words?
I guess really looking forward to it and super excited to learn from the participants. And so our role is mentor. So definitely going to be asking a lot of questions and hopefully guiding them wherever possible. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be learning a ton of things. I know folks these days who are baked into those Gen AI stuff, right? Seeing all many things coming up, they have a very nice and cool ideas. I was super excited when we had that executive social. I got to meet a lot of people. So yeah, so basically super excited to meet so many people out there, and then hopefully the participant who's going to work on the project, I get to see that coming in the future as a company startup or any kind of some sort of product.
Wow. So, in other words, Ranjan is saying that he's excited to see another unicorn from this hackathon.
Yes, absolutely.
All the best.